Welcome back to the Focus Podcast. Today we have Andy Little with Renown Weight Loss on the show. Welcome to the show, Andy.
Hey, thank you for having me.
Yeah,
It's
of
good to be
course.
here.
Yeah, of course, man. It's been way too long. We were just talking off camera. Probably known you now for a little over 13 years, 12, 13 years, somewhere
Yeah,
in there.
yeah. And you haven't aged a bit.
Oh, no, I don't know about all that, but the key is to go bald early. So if you're listening out there, if you're going bald, shave your head, because that way when people see you in 10 years, 20 years, they're like, oh, you haven't changed a bit. Because I went bald when I was about 30. So, and then go gray early too.
So I'm
That's
the
helpful.
antithesis of that philosophy. So
Okay.
I started losing my hair in the early 20s, so I just shaved it.
Yes.
And then about 5 years ago, I thought, could I regrow some of it? And I was preparing to get married, and my fiance encouraged me to try. And so now I just have this little tuft right here. I'm just holding on to
There you
for
go.
till the bitter end.
Hey, it's a good look for you.
Yeah,
Got the beard going, everything like that. So they call it makeup for guys, the beard. So
yeah,
looking good, man. Well, yeah, we met a while ago, and you've had a few different businesses. Today, we're going to mainly be talking about weight loss, which is a great time of year because we are about to indulge into Thanksgiving and the
Mhm.
holidays and all the things that come into that. Most of our audience out there are in the business world, whether it's business owners or business minded. I, for one, love to be eat healthy, be in shape because it helps me be more productive. It's more of an energy thing for me.
Yeah,
And so, kind of talk to us about the advantages of just a healthy workplace.
yeah. I think you probably hit the top advantage, which is I think a healthier staff or healthier workforce is going to be more productive.
Yeah,
Um, I, there's no matter how healthy you are, I think there's always going to be some level of sickness or personal days taken, and regrettably some level of maybe work related injury. But I would think there would be a direct correlation between a boost in health and wellness in your office with your staff. There would be a direct correlation between that and a decrease in sick time, work related injury, those kind of things. If And I guess it would vary, based on the different work environments. But if it's an environment where there is some level of physical exertion or manual labor or something like that, then I
yeah.
think there's an obvious benefit there for more endurance, durability, flexibility, whatever. When you're keeping your body in a state of health.
Yeah, that's what I've noticed is that, like you're saying, when I am paying attention to those kind of things, then I'm not getting sick. I have more energy, and that's actually something I just now thought of this that I noticed because we've done a couple of videos for you guys, and I've noticed that your team is kind of a byproduct of what you do. It's almost like when you see a mechanic, you kind of hope that their car is in good shape,
Yeah,
or if you see a dentist that they have good teeth or whatnot. And so just the energy level there, and not even talking just like physically, you can just tell that. And I this is a microcosm. I'm sure you know the day to day, but it seemed like everyone was in a good mood, everyone's energized and whatnot. So there's something too that you guys are sounds like you're practicing what you preach kind of deal.
absolutely. I would like to say there's a direct correlation there, but I also feel like we're just blessed with some really good team.
Yeah.
Our staff, you've met them all, I think, and they're amazing. So fun to work with. High energy, believe in what they're doing, love changing lives, and it's really rubbed off on me. I think we maybe have had this conversation before, but I'm a businessman, not a doctor, not a provider.
Mhm.
So medical weight loss, I wouldn't say in the origin of Renown Weight Loss, it wasn't like my passion wasn't losing weight now or helping people lose weight. Now my partner Christina, she's been a godsend because she almost tears up talking about just the prospect of helping people reach their goals, helping people overcome or not need their diabetic medications anymore, or
Right.
their cardiovascular issues and things like that. Like, she is deeply passionate about that. I didn't start out that way, but I've become that way. 'Cause I was more business minded, right?
Right. What do
But
the
it's
numbers say? What do the numbers
yeah,
say?
yeah.
Yeah.
What's the return on investment? How can we grow new business, generate new business? That's kind of typically how I think. Um, but it's been an added, unexpected joy to be a part of this. To grow a business. We're now scaled up to 5 locations, spanning from far east side of the metroplex to far west side of the metroplex, and really all in between. So it's been fun from a business perspective, but it's more joyous, I think, to see hundreds, now thousands, shoot, by now tens of thousands of people reach their weight loss goals, change their
Yes.
life for the better, and and some of them to hear their stories even 2, 3, 4 years removed, and how they're still maintaining it, like they fundamentally changed their life and their trajectory, and
Yeah.
it's awesome to see. It really is. And that's probably a long answer to your question, but I think that's also a reflection of our staff being so bought into that same idea. And it's probably a trickle down effect from Christina. She's my business partner. She leads our consultants and that piece of the business, and all of the girls feed off of her, and they share that. I keep saying passion. I'm trying to think of maybe a better word, so I don't
No, I think
become
that's a
redundant.
great
But they
word.
share
Yeah.
that passion um for really helping people reach their goals and change their lives for the better, and it's amazing.
And you can feel it when you're
Yeah,
there, because we spent, a few hours on at least on the brand video with you guys. Shout out to the weight loss boss, Christina.
that's right.
Yeah, she's awesome. And then, but what I love about y'all's approach is, like you said, it's not just like here lose the weight and like see you later. There's a program that helps them not only lose the weight but keep it off. And I think that's so important how y'all work with them for the long term benefit, and not just, hey, do this program to fit into the bathing suit and be done with it. Now, we all know that there are some challenges that people face when it comes to weight loss.
Yeah,
So I'm self-employed now. When I was in the corporate world, I had no discipline. So if there's donuts in the break room, I'm going after it. If
mm,
there's a birthday cake, if there's pizza, no willpower, whatnot. What challenges in the workplace are people coming to you with that are hindering their weight loss journey?
yeah. I think an overcrowded schedule,
Mm,
which then leads to stress, which then leads to impulse decision making, especially when it comes to
yes.
dietary intake, things like that. I think that's probably chief among that. And to that point, I think Christina and our team, they do a great job of working with these people to try to create a schedule that's more conducive to discipline. But that's hard because you're talking about a fundamental change in your day-to-day life, and it's not easy, and often it's not without some setbacks, but I think with the ongoing coaching, the encouragement, the grace too. That's what you've probably heard Christina talk about this ad nauseum, but we're really trying to help people fundamentally change their lives, but we know that no one just overnight cold turkey just does a 180. That
Right.
just maybe a few exceptions, but that's not that's not normative, right?
Right.
It's there's going to be some setbacks. We talk about forgiving yourself, having a little bit of grace, but still don't ruin it all, right? Don't throw it all away just because you had maybe a minor setback. Maybe because
Right.
you grabbed a donut in the break room doesn't mean you have to go out that evening and then just completely implode.
Right.
There, it's acknowledging where there may be a temptation or a setback. Hopefully, you have enough strength and discipline to overcome it. But if not, hey, we're gonna get back on it, and we're gonna keep overall making progress towards our goals.
That's such a great point, because I think a lot of people, and I'm sure you all have know these stats more than I do, but I just feel like the feel is that's why people quit their program,
Mhm.
because they just fall off and they're like, you know what, I'm not gonna. I've tried all these before and whatnot. So by, like you said, having that coach to not only hold you accountable but also to say that's fine, like
Yeah,
that's okay.
yeah,
Like you missed this, you know, treatment, or you missed this, your diet goals. That's going to be okay, because we're going to get you back on track. And I think a lot of people out there that are on their own just kind of just give up and they spiral. They eat the whole sleeve of Oreos because they had a couple, so to speak. So that's just such a great point. I'm glad you brought that up about giving them grace,
yeah. And I
because it helps them
think
with
that
longevity.
you know I think our clients, our patients, they crave accountability. They crave someone walking them, coaching them, going down this path together. But at the same time, they didn't sign up for a boot camp. Nobody wants a drill sergeant,
Right.
yelling down. So I feel like our team does a good job of balancing where they're firm but loving and caring too, because we know. I mean, that's a large part of our job is providing coaching and accountability. So there's a firmness there, but it's not an absolute cold firmness.
Yeah.
There's grace. We understand we're all humans. We have setbacks. We have things that we encounter unexpectedly on a day to day basis, and that could potentially trigger us to just throw it all away, and
Right.
eat our feelings or whatever. And so we're there to kind of be understanding, to walk through that and to learn, maybe mitigate the damage, damage
Yes.
control, and so that you can get back on the horse, back on the path, and continue that journey towards your ultimate goals.
That's yeah, it's so good because most people don't respond well to just getting beat down. They
Yeah.
respond better to being encouraged
Yeah.
and cheered on. So that's such a great point. Now there's going to be those that are listening out there that are not familiar, myself included, with medical weight loss.
Mhm.
And so, you hear that thrown out, but what does it actually mean? So kind of tell us about some of the programs that you guys offer in like medical weight loss and what does that even mean to someone that, should they be going that path? Should they be going more towards, traditional? What are some of the differences there?
Yeah, the way I like to say it is it's medically assisted weight loss
Okay.
and also medically supervised weight loss. I have to say
Okay.
that because I'm not a doctor, but we do have medical providers on staff, that work with us to oversee the medical part. So it's medically supervised, but it's when it comes to the patient, it's medically assisted weight
Okay.
loss. So I like to say the lay persons on our staff, the non-medical personnel, they take on the coaching, the encouragement, the accountability, the follow-ups, those things.
Yeah.
And that really is the crux of our programs. We really want to help you change your life.
Mm.
And I say that to say we weight it that way because we don't want to weight it so heavy on the medicine side where people are just looking for a magic bullet, a magic pill, take this, and they have no concern about actually changing their habits, changing their level of activities, changing their dietary intake. So we try to emphasize that it's the medications that are offered as part of our programs. They're there to maximize your efforts, not to supplant your efforts or not to do away with. There's still there still takes a level of discipline and effort to really change your life, but the
Yeah.
medications can help with that.
Right.
I have a big concern, to be honest. I think in a little bit we'll talk about what our most popular programs are. And of course, over the last year and a half to 2 years, the thing that everybody talks about is the semaglutide, the Ozempic, Wegovy, or the tirzepatide, which is like the Manjaro or the Zepbound. And because of Hollywood, because of social media, because of just general media, everybody is craving these medications.
Yeah.
And which is good, and we have them, and we've had people have tremendous amount of success on these programs. So I'm grateful for that, and it's made medical weight loss top of mind for a lot of people. Whereas before the whole semaglutide uptick, people were like, "You, what is medical weight loss? What does that even mean?"
Right.
So I'm grateful for it, but at the same time, we have to be cautious to not give into this idea, which seems to be pervasive, that you can just dose yourself into not having any hunger, not having any starvation or whatever. And I think there are people that maybe are doing that. We don't do that, but where they just up the doses, they titrate up until that person feels so nauseous or so or lacking in hunger that they just lose weight because they're starving themselves. And that's not healthy. That's not recommended. That's not what we're trying to do. We want to utilize the GLP-1 medication, semaglutide, tirzepatide, to come alongside to assist and to maximize
Right.
our otherwise efforts to just have a healthy lifestyle. Does that
Yeah.
make sense?
No,
And so we
totally.
weight it heavily on that part, and the medications we look at as an assist, as a complement to what we're doing,
Yeah.
not as a replacement.
I'm so glad you touched on that because I think a lot of people will just assume they can just take this magic pill or this magic shot and then lose a bunch of weight and they're
Mhm.
done. And so that just doesn't seem healthy or a long-term solution. That's why a lot of people yo-yo. So I'm
Yeah.
glad you mentioned that part about the assisted part, because there's so much more that goes into your programs as opposed to just come in, get this shot, get this pill,
Yeah.
whatever the deal is, and then all of a sudden, like, you just start shedding weight. So
Yeah.
yeah, I just love that aspect of it.
Yeah, if you put the appropriate amount of weight on the medications, which for us is less weighty than the actual lifestyle change, right? Then you can use those medications to be an encouragement to you,
Yes.
because they do assist, they do maximize your efforts, so they kind of compound the results. And now everyone, when they're trying to change their life, they love they love quick results. They love to see that, and that kind of creates momentum,
Right.
and they hit some kind of critical mass at some point where they're like, okay, I got this,
Yeah.
and so if you weight it properly, it can be very encouraging to assist those. But on the flip side, if you weight it improperly, if you put all your weight on these medications, you may experience temporary success,
Yeah.
but then as soon as you stop, you haven't changed anything about your intake, your lifestyle, your level of activity, any of these things. And so then you, like you say, yo-yo back up. In some cases, unfortunately, balloon back up.
Mm.
To larger than previous.
Right.
Prior to taking it, and that's very discouraging. That's the opposite of what we want to do. So
Yeah.
we try to, yeah, we do offer medical weight loss. And I should also say too, there's a miscommunication or a misunderstanding. I mean, some people think medical weight loss, they think of like bariatric surgery, things
Okay.
like that,
Yeah.
and we don't do any of that. Not that there's other people, it's a medical necessity and they do it and are successful. So I'm not uh, disparaging surgery, but we don't do. So we always say, when we first started, we did a radio spot with Cat Daddy from K104, a
Mhm.
good friend of mine, and Christina. He and Christina got on the air and we're talking back and forth, and he asked the same question: what is medical weight loss? And she said, well, basically, we're going to cut the weight, but we will never cut you.
I
And
love
there's
it.
something about that stuck, and
Yes.
it was kind of fun, a little bit tongue in cheek, but it played well,
Yeah.
that stuck with me so yeah. So we don't. So it's non-surgical. We don't cut on anybody,
Yeah.
do anything like that. It's just medically assisted weight loss, to be redundant, and it's usually through pill form or injection form. And that's and then some sublingual drops,
Yeah.
um, things like that. But yeah, that's basically it.
No, that's great. And I love that distinction because I'm 45, so I grew up in the era of like liposuction and things like that. So I
Yeah,
think people my age maybe associate, you hear medical weight loss, you just jump to that, or the
yeah,
bariatric, whatever that word
mhm,
is.
yeah.
And I know you mentioned the coaching, the different programs there. Like, kind of share what are the different kind of programs you guys offer? Is that um, more the I can't pronounce the semaglutide,
Similar, yeah,
all those
yeah.
different things. Like, what are some of the programs you guys are offering for people?
I'm not even sure I'm pronouncing it right. I've heard people from the Northeast call it semaglutide.
Okay,
We've always called it semaglutide. Our medical providers call it semaglutide, but I don't know what's appropriate.
yeah,
But yeah. So we have a wide range of programs. We're not, all of our eggs aren't in this uptick in interest in semaglutide
right,
or tirzepatide. We've predated that by 6 or 7 years and already had a growing, thriving practice company before that. But it's undeniable that this uptick has it's kind of semaglutide based programs have surged to the top. They're the most popular. That's um and it's kind of weird, I'll be honest. Historically, our Christina and our team of consultants, they're the experts. They're educated in regards to wellness and weight loss and these things. And of course, our medical providers are brilliant when it comes to medicine and weight management and those things. So historically, we're used to the people coming to us asking for what they should do.
hmm,
But this surge in popularity with semaglutide, it's almost inverted now. It's almost like they come asking for specifically that. Prior, we didn't have people coming asking for medication. They were
okay,
asking about a program.
right,
Now they're coming asking Do you have semaglutide? Do you have tirzepatide? And how soon can I get it? And how much does it cost? It's
Yeah.
very, and it's, we have to be careful that we don't, wholly give over to that mindset, because it is invert. At the end of the day, I think that regardless of what the medication is that person uses, they need guidance. They need the medical oversight. They need the weight loss coaching to really be successful long term, to justify the cost. 'Cause let's be honest, these semaglutide programs are pricier than some of the other programs. It's
Hmm.
just because the the product itself is more expensive. And
Okay.
so um and we don't want you spending a lot of money. Sometimes, 1,000, 2,000, or in some cases $3,000 or $4,000 for nothing. To
Right.
have a very short term success, and then you just return to really worse than you were previously when it comes to weight and health and those kind of things. So,
Yeah.
um, it's important for us to still, and I know Christina has talked to our staff about this. It's easy because it's, if somebody comes to you telling you what they want, that's an easier sell, right? You're like, hey,
Right.
we have that. Let's go. Sign here, whatever. But we have to avoid the temptation to make it easy and still come in and say, hey, we do have this product.
Yeah.
We can facilitate a program where this product can supplement your efforts and maximize your results, and medically assist you, like we talked about earlier. But to just get this medication and inject yourself weekly, and to think that's going to really change your life for a long time is not a prudent approach
Yeah.
to weight loss, to health, to anything like that. But again, that's a lot of times that's what the people want
Right.
sometimes. And so it's trying to really balance that out, because
Yeah.
I mean, I'm like this. I think you're like this too. Our background together in sales and business. I'm a people pleaser. I want to make people happy, but at the same time, you also have to care enough about that person to do what's best for them, not what's
Yes.
expedient
Yeah.
for them. You know what I mean?
No, I do.
So
And as you were talking, I was thinking, we like to do the same thing because people will come to us and say, we want this specific, video and we're going to do this. And it's like, I have to have enough integrity and care enough about them to really look at their business and go, okay, you're telling me this is the goal. I'm not quite sure this particular type of video helps you meet this goal. What do you think about da 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 da? Da? And it's like
yeah,
I'm gonna butcher the quote, but there's an adage about if we had it our way, we would just get faster horses.
yeah,
Like Henry Ford
yeah,
said something of that nature. So again, I've met with your team, personally because when we do a video shoot, it's neat because we get to see the behind the scenes and get to know people as we're coaching them through their lines and whatnot, and you can tell that it's genuine, like they truly care. And so you can get a prescription, so to speak, anywhere, but you can tell that you guys actually care about the long term results and not just making a sale.
absolutely.
And it really shows through. Now, most people, one of the biggest New Year's resolutions is always going to be, I want to get out of debt, I want to lose weight.
Yeah,
Those
yeah.
are the top two. Um, are you finding that people, is that pretty standard in your industry where January people are like hitting you up, or are people starting now to say, hey, I want to avoid the holiday weight gain kind of deal?
Yeah, it's last year was the first kind of aberration in a trend that's been 8 or 9 years. So for the last 8 or 9 years, every year towards quarter four, and especially towards the end of quarter four, so Thanksgiving through Christmas and New Year's,
Hmm.
were our slowest months. And the idea is every few people are really concerned about losing weight when they have all of these holiday treats everywhere. You have your Thanksgiving
Hmm.
meal, your Christmas parties, your big feast, around the holidays. And then it would pick back up in January because presumably, like you said, because of New Year's resolutions. But you know what was weird? This is not a small data sample. This goes back to over a decade. Um, January picks up a little bit, and then February picks up a little bit over January, and then March is our high water mark, our
Okay.
high water month every year.
Okay.
So my theory is I don't have the empirical data to support this, but from watching this data for so long, I think what might be happening is in January people are dedicated to doing it by themselves.
Hmm.
They want to lose weight. They want to get to the gym. They want to do these things. They start strong. About halfway through the month, they peter out and they find themselves back to where they started.
Hmm.
Somewhere around February, I think those that were really serious about it start to have some self introspection and think, I tried to do this myself. I can't. I need some help. Let
Okay.
me reach out for help. And then we see. So there's that. And then at the same time, you have that kind of philosophy, but then also March is when spring break's coming. People
Hmm.
start thinking about summer, start getting ready for summer. So I think you have those two things kind of coalescing into the month of March, and
Yeah.
it's our biggest month year over year. Isn't that crazy?
That
You
is
would think it would be
crazy.
January, right?
Yeah. Yeah. But that
But
makes sense.
and again, I don't have real strong data to support that, but I mean, the data's there. I mean, we see the up and down of sales and everything of interest, but I mean, as far as the psychiatry behind it, I don't
Yeah.
have the data, but that's just kind of my best guess about what's happening.
Yeah. That makes sense.
But last year, what we saw was a very steady November and December through the holidays, and I think that can be attributed to the rise in popularity for the semaglutide-based programs because
Yes.
those are, people get on those, they stay on those. There's not a lot of, especially if they're losing weight, they end up staying on those for a long time.
Yeah.
Generally speaking, and again, I'm not a doctor, and far be it for me to give medical advice, but what I hear from the medical providers is that it has a high safety profile, and so the medical providers are a lot less concerned about staying on it for an extended period of time versus some of the other programs we've had where they're short programs by nature because you cannot, it's unsustainable to do something so drastic or with such
Right.
potent medication for for a long period of time. It seems to be the case, and again, I'm not a doctor, but from our medical providers, that it's they feel better about patients being on semaglutide month to month into perpetuity until
Yeah.
they, and there's different titration schedules, so it's not the same every single month. But anyways, I'm getting too wordy here. But basically, up until last year, November, December, you would see a downward trend in sales and interest, consultation requests, everything.
Right.
But last year, we didn't see that, and I
That's
think it's because of the semaglutide based programs.
No, that makes a lot of sense too, because like you said, it's more popular now. People are
Yeah.
knowing about it, asking by name, so that makes a whole lot of sense. So if someone out there is listening right now and they're like, you know what, I've tried everything and it hasn't worked for me, maybe I should give medical assisted weight loss a try. Um, what are the next steps for them to get that appointment with you guys?
Yeah, so you can go to our website, renownweightloss.com. Some people have a hard time with the spelling of Renown. It's RENOWN, weightloss.com. It's there on the homepage. It's really easy. You can select the free consultation request form, fill out a form. It takes less than a minute, maybe even less than 30 seconds. As soon as you complete that form, we have a very friendly and helpful kind of front desk staff or call centers personnel that'll be in touch with you. They'll confirm the time, confirm the place, and we'll get you in. And it's easier if and we did this to make it easier for your schedule. You can do that initial consultation in person at any of our 5 area locations, or via telemedicine, via virtual chat, virtual video chat, or via the telephone. So we can accommodate your needs. If you're in an office or you're busy at work and can't come in, we can give us 30 minutes online or on the phone, and we can get you taken care of.
Awesome, awesome. Well, Andy, it was a pleasure having you on. Love the work that you guys are doing. Love the lives you are changing. Appreciate you being able to join us today. And again, like you said, visit Renown Weight Loss and check out the different programs they have. I've seen the testimonials myself. Great company, great guy. Thanks for tuning in to this episode of The Focus. Until then, I'm Mario Wilson with 12 Media Group, where we put your brand in focus.